So the Leafs end the West Coast road trip with 0 wins, 2 losses, and 1 overtime loss. So out of a possible 6 points, the Leafs got 1. As they lose it should have been more or less 4-2 with the empty netter. It is 5-2. Ducks beat the Leafs in regulation, and this is starting to get a little difficult to watch. Now the Leafs have now lost, I think it's 5 or 6 in a row. I mean, it's just, it's getting upsetting now. I mean, the West Coast road trip is over, thank goodness. But it's not like it gets very easy for the Leafs as they play. Well, Detroit having a tough year, but they come home to face the Detroit Red Wings, and then on the Thursday they play Philly. So they have some games at home now. Their next 2 games are at home before they play Carolina on the road. Now, this team tonight, they started out the gate strong. They did not start out the gate strong. Rickard Rakell scored the first goal of the game for the Ducks 10 minutes and 40 seconds into the first period. 6 minutes later, the Leafs answered with Zach Hyman's tip-in goal from the point. Nikita Zaitsev with the shot, and Nylander with the secondary assist. So Zach Hyman now with 9 goals on the year. He has 25 points. Nikita Zaitsev has been ripping it up, and Nylander adds an assist to his total. Second period, the Leafs it's a 1-1 game. 5:53 into the period, Nazem Kadri scores his 26th goal of the year, assisted by Bozak and Mitch Marner. Now, I'm happy Marner got a point there, but I'm really not happy about what he did later on, as he did a spinorama blind pass, which ended up on the stick of Silverberg, who put it in the net. And we got a tie game. And 16 seconds after that, Rickard Rakell scores his 26th goal of the year. The Leafs are instantly down 3-2. You had the lead, and 16 seconds, and it's gone. Third period rolls around, it's still a 3-2 game. Well, you don't leave Sami Vatanen open at literally the hash marks. 1:19 into the period, it's 4-2, and then Patrick Ease with the empty netter. The Leafs didn't show much fight. They didn't look really good. They need to get home. I think they need to be home. McElhinney didn't look too great tonight. Rough night by most players, and of course, Jonathan Bernier has 2 goals on 39 shots. Of course, he plays a very good game against the Toronto Maple Leafs. I said that in the last video that I was hoping that he wasn't, just because it's the Leaf luck. And there it is. But the Leafs didn't really play all that well in general. They had a really... right when Mitch Marner made that bad pass is when things started to crumble. And that's where it really started to hurt. And I think you guys would agree with that. They were looking okay up until that point. They had the lead up until that point. And then a blind pass, and they're sluggish, and bang, bang, you're in literally probably about, if you want to talk real time, probably about 2 to 3 minutes. And you're gone from a 2-1 lead to you're losing 3-2. You can't set back at all against strong teams like this. For goodness sake, you can't sit back at all with teams because they will capitalize. That's the NHL. And the Anaheim Ducks did that tonight. They ended their schneid that they were on. The Leafs, continuing on their schneid, they lost 5 straight games, and they're not playing the way they should be heading down the stretch. And I'm praying, I'm not going to say that they're hitting the 18-wheeler, because they're grabbing points here and there sometimes, and they're having a win here and there. Now the problem, the Islanders lost in the shootout, so they got a point. So they're officially ahead of the Leafs by 1 point with a game in hand. And things are looking tough right now. The odds of still making the playoffs, they're questionable now. Boston is still, what, 2 points up on the Leafs. However, we've now played the same amount of games. With a win tonight, you could have tied them. We have the season series. Bang, you're back in the division spot. But with a loss, you're right where you don't want to be. So the Leafs really got to smarten up and really start winning some games if they want to get into the playoffs. No matter if it's a wild card spot or if it's the third divisional spot, or if they miraculously go crazy and find a way to pass Ottawa. But I can't see that happening. This team needs to focus on good starts and good ends to periods. That's been their kryptonite that I've noticed a lot. Now, arguably, Rickard Rakell's first goal was right in the middle of the first period, but then you look at the second, go, okay, right in the middle, so my things go right out the window. But they're back-to-back. When they score a goal against you, you've got to be able to respond. You can't just say, oh, geez, here we go, and then bang, you're down. It's just, that, at that point, I think a lot of Leaf fans knew, yeah, I don't think this is going to work like this game. I don't think that we're going to win this game just because of the way that sequence was. That 3-minute stretch or whatever you want to say it was. You know, an awful pass from Mitch Marner leads to a goal. 16 seconds later, bang, you're down. And they didn't show much fight after that. I mean, they really didn't. Riley looked like he was ailing a little bit. He looked like he was hurting a little bit, I got to say. You know, Freddie Anderson was a little upset for not getting the start against his former club. I mean, there's questions about that because... You know, obviously we lost the game last night in the shootout, and he did have 35 shots. So there were questions in the last time he started a back-to-back game. You know, he gave up 5 goals, and I mean there were so many things. And playing at your former club, they know what you're like, and it's just Babcock went with what he's been doing all year. McElhinney is the backup on the second half of a back-to-back, and that's what happened today. And the result was not what we wanted. But you know what? We have to move on. We have to. Or else we're just going to dwell on these losses. It's just going to break our hearts even more. So the Leafs have some time off. Let's say that. They have the weekend off, so they do not play on Hockey Night in Canada tomorrow night. Sunday, they do not play. Monday, they do not play. And then, like I said, Tuesday, they play Detroit at home. Again, a team like Detroit... Not a very good team. They're a game under 500. They're not playing well right now. Mrazek's not having a great year. I mean, it's a team that you have to beat. And if the Leafs lose, things aren't looking pretty. But we can't think if they lose. If the Leafs win, we're right back in the win column. We're right back in the winning ways. And then you play Philly, a team that you're battling with for a playoff spot. So... We're right in the thick of things. The West Coast road trip is gone and out of the way. It didn't go well at all, but it's done. What's done is done, and that's that. So you know what, guys? That is going to do it for this one. If you guys enjoyed the video, hey, hit that like button. I do appreciate that. Hit the subscribe button if you guys haven't already. It means a lot. Really does mean a lot when you guys hit that subscribe button. I've been seeing a lot. Well, over the past half a month, we've been going crazy, and I appreciate every single subscriber joining the channel. It really means a lot. And we'll talk to you. We'll comment down below what you guys thought of the game. Miserable. For the most part, if you look at the score, you're like, ugh, it sucked. And we'll talk to you guys tomorrow. Like I said in the Raptor video, if you guys did not see, Blue Jays edition. Whoa! So we're going to recap this past week. Obviously, the first week of spring training baseball. We'll be talking about the games that have been played. And we'll also talk to you, well, that'll be a weekly thing. Every Saturday we're posting a video about that week's games. And also, Raptors edition is they're in Milwaukee taking on the Bucks. And like we said, Tuesday, Leafs edition, they're taking on the Red Wings, the Air Canada Center. The Leafs, when I say they need a win, they're desperate for a win. We'll see you guys then.